the problem, man?
There's a skeleton.
Don't worry, ma'am. We're with the police.
This is what we do.
Vernier caliper.
What are you doing?
My partner is simply measuring the victim's femur and humerus in an attempt to determine the victim's sex. Got anything?
Nothing conclusive. Some measurements suggest male, but nothing for certain.
Looks like we're going to need to use the protractor.
Right you are.
What's that for?
The sex can also be determined by the angle of the victim's hip bones. If it's more than 90% female, if it's less than 90% male. What's the verdict, Detective Benson?
Well, Detective Benson, the hips have an angle of 44 degrees, so I can say for certain that it's male.
Thank you for your cooperation, ma'am. That's all we need here. We'll be in touch.
Wait, is that a candlestick? It looks like it has some blood on it.
Better take it. It could be useful. Detective Benson, I was just at the lab and they're short-staffed, so it looks like we're going to be running our own tests on this case.
They don't pay me enough for this. What do we need to do?
Well, I was given 2 blood samples from the candlestick from the crime scene, as well as 2 blood samples from our 2 suspects, Professor Plum and Miss Scarlet.
Perhaps we should put anti-A and anti-B antibodies on the blood and see which one reacts.
Brilliant, Detective Benson!
Got any aces?
Go fish.
Maybe we should check on the samples.
Good idea.
Well, we found both type A and type B blood at the crime scene.
And both Professor Plum and Miss Scarlet are type A. Looks like we're going to need to do more research.
Did you get them?
Of course. The lab finally hired some new interns, so I got the 2 DNA samples from the suspects, as well as a gel electrophoresis machine. We'll catch this killer yet!
Great. What's first?
We put the DNA samples from the crime scene and from both suspects into 2 different lanes of gel. The electricity will move the pieces of DNA down the sample. When the cycle is up, we'll be able to compare the DNA of both suspects to that found at the crime scene.
So whoever's DNA matches up with the DNA at the crime scene is killer?
Precisely. Now we wait. Left hand red. The samples! Are you seeing what I'm seeing, Detective Benson?
I don't believe my eyes. It's a perfect match.
The killer! It's Professor Plum!
Professor Plum was quickly prosecuted for the murder of Mr. Body. He's facing a lifetime in jail. Olivia valiantly ensured justice with her assistance in the case. She's recovered from her trauma and is now leading a happy life. Her dog is also, presumably, okay. Detective Benson received a promotion, getting him a hefty salary and a much-needed break from the dangers of the field. Detective Benson realized her true passion and filled one of the empty positions in the forensics lab. The detective gets to pursue her true love, blood typing.